Let's talk faith. This is Faith Talk with Malachi.
The Bible wasn't written by one person, and it wasn't created overnight. The Bible is a collection of writings written over roughly 1,500 years by different authors in different places across different cultures. Kings, prophets, shepherds, fishermen yet together. These writings tell one unified story. Now, before we go further, there's something important to clarify. The Bible was written, preserved, and recognized through human hands. Real people living in real political, cultural, and social systems. That means Scripture exists within history, and it also means the Bible has, at times, been misused. But here's the key distinction. Being written and recognized by people is not the same thing as being invented for their agendas. And later misuse of Scripture is not the same as its original purpose. That distinction matters. The Old Testament writings were preserved and guarded by the Jewish people as sacred scripture long before Christianity existed. They weren't created to gain power, they were received as foundational to faith and identity. The New Testament writings, the Gospels and letters, were written within the first generation of the church, circulated early, read publicly, copied, tested, and trusted by communities connected to the apostles or closely tied to their teaching. When church councils eventually met, they weren't creating scripture or inserting new ideas. They were recognizing writings that were already widely used, already consistent, and already shaping the faith of believers across regions. In other words, the church didn't create the Bible. The church recognized what it believed God had already inspired. Now, it's also important to be honest. Throughout history, people have taken biblical texts, pulled them out of context, and used them to justify power, control, and oppression. That tells us something real, not about the heart of Scripture, but about the danger of misusing it. Misuse reveals human agendas. It doesn't define the original message. Understanding how the Bible was created doesn't require blind faith. It requires historical awareness, careful distinction, and honest questions. And when we understand that process, we're better equipped to read Scripture responsibly with clarity, humility, and discernment. In future conversations, we'll talk about how the Bible has been misused and how to read it faithfully without repeating those mistakes. Let's talk faith.
Let's talk faith. This is Faith Talk with Malachi.